The ballots are counted, but Mobile County probate judge Mark Irwin says staying home can send a message too.
I think the voters make a choice one way or the other. If they don't show up, they're making a choice. If they do show up, they're casting their ballot to make a choice. And
Tuesday, most stayed home. Statewide, only 5.24% showed up to the polls. In Mobile County, that number was 5.02, and in Baldwin County, just over 6% cast their ballots.
I'm disappointed just because we put so much effort into putting on the elections from a personal standpoint, from a county standpoint, probate court standpoint, in the sheriff's office and the circuit clerk's office. We worked so hard regardless to put on the election.
Irwin says even he didn't know what turnout would look like.
Nothing really compares to the unique circumstance that we're dealing with now. It's unprecedented. So who knew what to expect?
But for GOP District 1 primary winner Jerry Carl, the number itself was a warning ahead of November.
We've got to motivate the Republican base. What happened today, we haven't got the final numbers, but we anticipate it to be around 5%. And that's probably about where it's going to be. But we got to do better than that. November, we got to knock it out of the park.
The question is how.
I don't know yet.
Irwin says that's a question both parties now have to answer.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that the challenge for both parties, obviously going into November, is going to be to either maintain momentum or to generate momentum. And that's a challenge for the candidates and the party apparatus to figure out how they're going to do that.
Carl says candidates have to own their part of it.
We've got to become more attentive. So it's our job to get to motivate the voters. I mean, that is our job. And if they're not motivated, we're not doing our job.
And Irwin says that job will take both grassroots work and support from the top of the ticket.
You have very lackluster effort from the top of the ticket. It's going to be hard for down ballot races to generate a lot of voter interest in turning out locally. And so it takes both. It takes a lot of grassroots effort locally, but it also takes the infusion of some of the campaign financing that comes from the top.
Because whether voters show up, Irwin says, is a decision of its own.
The voters make their minds by attending the election and voting, or they make their minds by who they vote for if they show up. And so either way, they're making a decision.
Now the race is on to change some of those decisions before November.
We'll see which party is able to execute that plan, but I'm sure they're both working on that today.
Of course we are outraged.
New York Attorney General Letitia James sounding off on ICE's plan to buy gloves that can deliver painful electric shocks. According to a notice published in a DHS database, ICE plans to spend up to $20 million on special patrol gloves that would allow users to press a button and activate an electrical mode. The glove then must be applied directly to the skin, produce a voltage that causes pain, intended to get compliance from people who are resisting.
Appears to be in violation of a number of laws, including our Constitution, the Administrative Procedure Act.
The manufacturer warns the devices should not be used against the elderly, small children, pregnant women, and the severely handicapped. Unlike tasers, these devices do not leave burn or contact marks. Still, New York officials are issuing a stern warning.
In the event that a New Yorker is injured as a result of these gloves, obviously there will be a private right of action as well as action from the state of New York. You can best be assured of that.
The Trump administration is firing back, stressing this force is non-lethal.
You just can't go from 0 to 100, right? And first thing you go for is lethal force. So the glove is, the latest thing they're looking at to help in situations. You've seen the videos in the past year and a half, the fights on the street where officers are overwhelmed.
According to official data released by DHS and ICE, the agency has tracked an approximate 1,400% increase in assaults targeting its officers.
They're just trying to protect themselves.
The gloves are already being used, but mostly by corrections officers in jails rather than on the streets. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
The tariff war is heating up once again. We're just days away from crippling new import taxes hitting Canada, America's second biggest trading partner. Earlier this week, the U.S. offered a new proposal that would trim back some of the tariffs, but Canada rejected it. And now officials there are suggesting if a deal isn't made by the deadline, they'll pivot to other markets.
Everybody wants to do more with Canada. except the United States. And we're on track to have access, free trade access to 3 billion consumers.
Meanwhile, here in the U.S., big shipping companies like FedEx and UPS have gotten more than $100 billion in tariff refunds from the Treasury Department. And now they're starting to pay that money back to consumers who were originally charged many times after their product was already shipped, though most big shippers say the amounts are relatively small so far.
That's very positive. I mean, that just tells us that these companies were absorbing the tariffs when they were happening, not passing them along to consumers.
And with less than 3 months to go to the midterm elections, the White House is doubling down on its tariff policy, while Democrats are vowing to oppose it.
We're setting prices so that the Chinese can't dump anymore, and we're setting tariffs to say build it here. We've got the industry here. It's too small, and it's going to explode.
We know we have headwinds coming at us every single day. Trump's tariffs eating away at people's paychecks. Those headwinds may well be a constant, but they can never be an excuse.
The new tariffs go into effect August 19th, impacting more than $20 billion worth of goods from Canada. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
So we got a lot of damage across the state.
Indiana's governor addressing the impact the latest round of severe weather in the Midwest has had on his state. Storms unleashing catastrophic flooding.
It's pretty amazing. I've never seen any kind of flooding like this in this area ever.
Heavy rain and flash flooding inundating homes and businesses, turning streets into rivers, and submerging vehicles as drivers were overtaken by high water.
I never really expected anything of this severity to come along, and I guess you just never know when it's going to happen.
The force of the rushing water causing roadways to collapse. The storms uprooting trees and leaving hundreds of thousands of Indiana homes and businesses still without power Wednesday evening. In neighboring Ohio, storms unleashed similar flooding a day earlier, with some roadways still flooded Wednesday.
These communities have been hit exceedingly hard in a historic way. We have people who have lost everything they have.
The state's governor said one person died after suffering an emergency when first responders were unable to reach them. The governor also addressed a lightning strike that left more than a dozen people injured at a correctional facility.
It actually impacted 16 prisoners.
The dangerous weather in the Midwest also stretching into South Dakota, where lightning struck just feet away from two highway patrol troopers who escaped injury when a storm rolled in. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
The special agent in charge of the FBI's Atlanta field office tells me that the internet is one of the most dangerous places for a child, and the parents posting their kids' back to school photos are no exception. The FBI is warning parents not to accidentally reveal things like specific bus stops, routes, home addresses, and school names. They say online predators could potentially use these revealing posts to build a relationship with kids. And even if your social media account is set to private, it doesn't mean those details can't land in the wrong hands.
You can't control, once a picture hits online, you cannot control who shares it, you cannot control who screenshots it.
You shouldn't be like posting your kids online like that and stuff like that. Just because, yeah, like you don't know who's watching and then who might target you because they see like, oh, you're from this area, maybe I can get something out of this person.
The FBI says those online relationships can lead to sextortion. That's when criminals will threaten to share inappropriate images of a victim unless they pay money. Last year, the FBI reported $13 million in sextortion damages. Georgia led the nation with $3 million in damages, with victims as young as 6 years old. And the FBI says even though your kid may think that their new online friend is their age, it could actually be an adult in another country.
They befriend kids as other kids. Usually it's a 40-year-old man that's internationally based.
We have like a Apple family account so we can actually monitor pretty much everything that they're doing. I trust them, but I don't trust the people online.
The FBI says an overwhelming majority of sextortion victims are boys between the ages of 13 and 17 years old. In Atlanta, Asher Red, Fox News.
Many of us have used it in one way or another. Artificial intelligence. Experts are saying it's here to stay. But what does that mean for workers who are worried about being replaced? Some business experts cite a changing game, but add that doesn't necessarily mean job loss.
You've got to be able to join a business and make it more effective.
Levi Belknap works at the Mays Business School at Texas A&M University. He says it's not just older workers feeling uneasy about AI. Younger generations are struggling with the idea of AI in the workplace, too.
We look at how can we best help students to get the skills they need now to navigate this rapidly changing world so they can be more effective.
Belknap says it's all about going with the flow, citing how younger people should get used to the idea of a workplace with artificial intelligence in it, and recommending new workers find companies that want them to play bigger operational roles.
Those companies are often the ones that have the least kind of in place to take advantage of the changes with AI and technology right now, and the most open to people to join them that can produce more by using these current technologies.
Belknap says it's important for students to understand the ins and outs of artificial intelligence now, so they can use it to their advantage after graduation. In a March 2026 survey from the Census Bureau, about 55% of U.S. workers said they've used artificial intelligence on the job for at least 1 out of 11 tasks. I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News.
StubHub failed to turn a profit in its second quarter, despite rising revenue from World Cup ticket sales. While the company's revenue climbed by 33%, growing costs and expenses grew faster at 37% in the most recent quarter. Lenovo is posting record revenue. The company said its revenue jumped 43% to more than $26 billion in its second quarter. The PC maker predicts it will beat a $100 billion revenue goal ahead of schedule as it branches out beyond computers into AI infrastructure. Ford is planning to move production of some of its Lincoln models from China to the U.S. starting in 2030. The carmaker says tariffs drove the decision as the main vehicle it imports from China faces a 52.5% tariff. According to Reuters, Ford's CEO acknowledged the move was difficult, but said it was necessary to strengthen the U.S. auto manufacturing base. And Chick-fil-A is making dreams come true for sweet and savory lovers. The fast food chain is debuting chicken and waffle sandwiches on August 24th. It's part of a year-long nostalgia campaign as it serves classic items with a fresh new twist. CJ Papa, Fox News.
In the classroom, being able to see what's being taught is a critical part of a child's learning. But experts say some parents may not know their child is struggling.
Most of the time, kids will not tell them just because they don't know what they don't know.
Dr. Terry Geist, president of the American Optometric Association, says what a parent or teacher may see in a student, like the inability to focus, poor academic performance, behavioral problems, a feeling of frustration, poor self-esteem, withdrawing from others, or rubbing their eyes, may actually be signs of a vision problem.
Early detection is key with that.
Because school screenings vary, the AOA says they don't detect as many as 75% of vision problems, and around 61% of children that do have eye problems that are detected never visit the doctor or get treatment. Geist says comprehensive eye exams assess how eyes work together and check for serious eye diseases.
So if we can see those kids younger, we can have treatment options and at a younger age, and that is essential for eye health later on in life.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Some parents might understand how hard it can be to make time for a workout while also taking care of kids, but for guardians of children in strollers, new research suggests it could be more beneficial to run while pushing them in it, and it all boils down to force.
When you run with a stroller, you lean forward and you lean onto the handlebars. And when you lean onto the handlebars, you impart some of your weight through the stroller instead of just through your legs. And that relieves some of the forces that are on your legs.
Allison Altman-Singles is an associate professor at Penn State Berks. She and her team looking at the biomechanics of running with strollers, finding that running with a stroller reduces a person's risk of overuse injuries. According to analysts, for every 1,000 miles run, parents who ran with a stroller observed a 55% lower injury rate than those who ran without one. But some strollers may be better for runners than others.
Your biomechanics will change less if you're pushing a lighter weight stroller. You also want to look for a stroller that allows you to maintain your typical arm posture. So one with adjustable handlebars can be really helpful.
Auburn Singles adds strollers with handbrakes can be better for anyone going up and down big hills. All in all.
But remember, our research is showing that running with a stroller has a lot of benefit to it. So even if it's just for short periods of time or less than you think you want to, it can be really beneficial for both the parent and the child.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
The foodborne illness ravaging Americans' stomach over the last month appears to be slowing down, but we're not out of the woods just yet. The CDC has logged nearly 14,000 lab-confirmed cases of the intestinal parasite Cyclospora, with another 10,000 under investigation. One caveat with those numbers is that there's a 6-week delay between the start of symptoms and when a case gets logged.
And so we're playing catch up on that. Cyclospora has always been a tricky parasite for CDC and FDA to investigate.
Federal health officials believe the original contaminant, Taylor Farms lettuce sourced from Mexico, has been contained. The FDA commissioner trying to reassure Americans that it's all been removed from store shelves.
We have the safest food supply in the world, period, full stop. Americans should feel confident in eating fresh produce, including leafy greens at this point.
Cases in some states are being linked to international travel.
Exposed through eating contaminated food or drinking contaminated water.
Health experts still recommend washing all your fruits and vegetables. If you really want to play it safe, cook it above 160 degrees.
If you're concerned, cook it. It kills it all.
Meanwhile, there's a new concern, a salmonella outbreak linked to jalapeno peppers. The folks over at Taylor Farms say that salsas, dips, and guacamole from their shop are all being recalled out of an abundance of caution. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
It's all about collaboration, and we got on wonderfully.
Julie Andrews has got on wonderfully for decades, but her on-screen career appears over. The 90-year-old legend told in style she won't return for the third Princess Diaries film currently being developed. Andrews said, "I think I'm retired, really, when it comes to on-screen acting, though the Oscar and Emmy winner has done voice work for film and television in recent years."
I encourage people to take this opportunity to be humbled before this living classroom that we have entrusted to us.
Every national park you go to is a different world.
This park has stories, but here's the thing. The story's not done yet.
Out There, a national park story follows two longtime friends whose summer road trip turned into a 7-year journey, discovering both the parks and the people who visit and protect them. The documentary begins streaming August 22nd at outthere.film, and through September 26th, part of the proceeds from every digital rental and purchase goes to benefit the National Parks Conservation Association. Thinking of Yosemite and Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
To the history mix, switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be 6 alive.
6, the musical live, reunites the royals, redefining their her stories.
When we came back together, it just made sense. It worked.
I don't know how my body did it. I'd not done the show in 4 years, and my body, my brain took over, and I ended up in this position, and I said, I don't know how we got here. It is so woven into our being. Genuinely, I was like, right, okay, let's make a film then.
You're watching it in the movie theaters, and it's still got that live feel and still got that immersive bringing you in, and you're locked in and you can just see everything about it.
It still feels like you've just got the best seat in the house, because even when we watched it, I wanted to get on my feet and applaud.
Anne has given me confidence in my own life in like a really deep way, but she's like made me kind of walk out into the world differently, which is, I mean, how amazing is that? What a gift from a job.
To have this family that we have, and it is a genuine bond that will never ever be broken, is the most special thing, and it's been completely life-changing, I think.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Check out these crafty creatures cleverly using tools to fish. Researchers at the University of the Sunshine Coast in Australia say they documented bottlenose dolphins picking up large seashells, bringing them to the surface, and shaking them to flush the fish right into their mouths, claiming this is the first time dolphin shelling has been caught on camera on the eastern coast of the country. Scientists believe this pastime may be passed down from mom to calf after spotting a pair performing the act together, saying it's likely the kiddo picked up the skill by watching its mother, writing, "These findings highlight how smart, clever, and innovative dolphins are." They plan to do more research to try and fully understand the practice. And snacks were on the brain of a bear in Colorado that meandered into a hotel looking for sweets. Breckenridge police responded to help the wild animal work its way back to the wilderness, coaxing it out the front door from a safe distance away. Police say no people or bears were hurt. A post-adventure check of the grab-and-go shop showed the bear only made out with one stolen item: M&Ms. Bear has good taste. And finally, this week the world watched the moon pass in front of the sun, but one of the wildest photos from the full eclipse shows a wingsuit athlete eclipsing the eclipse, passing in front of the phenomenon at more than 150 miles per hour. Red Bull's Mike Brewer and photographer Noah Wetzel concocted the idea, the product of 9 months of meticulous planning, launching from Almería, Spain, just as the moon began to black out the sun, crossing in front of the total eclipse with perfect timing for a photographer to grab this spectacular shot of the stunning moment, who later said, "This is as good as it gets." For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
How's my outfit?
This plain white t-shirt looks clean and casual, fits you perfectly, and gives off a relaxed and natural vibe.
This is the On a Robot phone. It is a completely new innovation in terms of the smartphone category, and at the core of the offering for the consumer is a 3-axis gimbal which is fully integrated into the smartphone. And what I love about it is that it actually tracks using AI, so it has a contextual understanding. It uses multimodal tracking for AI. It tracks the user and a center person or the center focal point of a person, and you can kind of follow you around the room as well. And I think the forefront of where this becomes quite interesting is that it pivots a camera from just being a passive device to a more proactive device. So in this world of AI and agentic AI, when devices start understanding the world around us and the surroundings, imagine having a device longer term which can understand and contextualize what's in front of you, and then they'll be able to give you assistance and support in the future.
I don't think there's many people that have had the experience of hiking into a meteor crater. It's kind of a rare experience. Yeah, this is a super special bucket list item for many. It's about 550 feet deep, a mile across, and about 2.5 miles around. 50,000 years ago, a meteor made impact with the earth here between Flagstaff and Winslow. And it was a serious blast that completely flattened the landscape. It's a hard hike. You know, you have to watch your footing. You have to make sure you're hydrated. We recommend using trekking poles. The trail has undergone a good amount of maintenance, and restoration groups came in recently to improve the trail. It's peaceful because the wind is calmer and you're surrounded by a 360 view of the massive crater.
Once you reach the bottom, you can snap a photo with the astronaut, get a closer look at the old mining operations, or take in the crater from a whole new perspective.
Unique is the perfect word for it. It's the best preserved crater around, and most craters aren't 5 miles off the 40. You know, it's a pretty select group of people that have been able to do this so far. You see it from above and it looks massive, and then once you start hiking down and you get to the bottom and you get to look back up, you're like, wow, that's a really different perspective. When you get to go on these specialty hikes down to the bottom or around the whole rim of the crater, you really get to get immersed in the history. You get to walk the trail that the astronauts walked when they came out here and trained. You get to come down and see the mining operations when they were looking for bigger pieces of the meteorite. People have been dreaming of it for years, and now that we finally offer it, you know, we're getting a good response of people that want to come out and, you know, fulfill one of their lifelong dreams of coming to the bottom of the crater.
Guided hikes to the bottom are offered Saturday mornings at 8:30 a.m., weather permitting. Visitors can also hike along the rim and experience a landscape that feels like another planet.
This is what he's going to tell you.
Trying to find the first place to put a body. No, sir.
The only thing they could do was kill him.
The jury and to find the defendant